Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Richard Engberg, and I'm an equity research analyst here at Erik Bank with focus on tech and software. With me, I have Anders Hamnes, CEO of Oneflow. Anders, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and thank you, Richard and Erik for having us here today. It feels a little strange to talk English, because I'm Norwegian. I've been living in Sweden for 14 years, but still I only speak what we call svorsk, so I guess maybe English is safer today. Brief about myself. I founded the company in 2012. I've been an entrepreneur for 19 years. It's a very addictive lifestyle. I've done 3 companies before Oneflow. And I also actually have 4 years of experience as an analyst, like Richard, between 1999 and 2003. So I was one of the .com analysts back in the days, covering tech stocks in Oslo. As maybe all of you know, Oneflow went public this year, 8th of April. So premier growth market. And I'm quite proud of showing the list of investors, or the big tickets that joined this round in a quite tough market, April. So we managed to have on board Robur, AP2 and 3, and Handelsbanken and Humble, quite big tickets. And the share is still trading around the same levels as we went when we went public. And still, one of all the employees, none of those sold any shares in the IPO. So I'm still with the company, 100%. Business idea. We are not an e-signing tool. That's a commodity today. We have thousands of companies doing e-signing. Only in Sweden you have 7, 8 companies doing e-signing. So when we founded Oneflow, the goal was always to build an end-to-end solution for handling contracts. All the steps in the process, not only the signing part, like most companies focus on. Upload a PDF, click on a button, and get it signed. In our world, that's a one-trick pony. That's only take 2 minutes to print and scan the contract. They don't solve a big enough problem. What we do also the pre-sign and post-sign stuff. In Oneflow, you can build powerful templates. You don't have to upload your Word templates on a server in a company. You have no control who's downloading which version of the template. You can't control what the sales reps and so on are doing in the templates. In Oneflow, you have full control. If it's online and available, you can use it. And if you change something in the template, it's bang, instantly updated. You can control what your employees are allowed to change in the template, very fine grain. So it's a fantastic tool compared to how most companies still work with Word files that they upload on servers locally. Collaborate, you can invite counterparties, you can in real time collaborate on the contracts, you can make changes, you have an audit trail that shows which change was made and by whom, and you can also discuss the contract inside the tool, so you don't have to jump between your mailbox, locally stored contracts, upload it to the e-sign tool again, back to your mailbox, mailing back and forth, update your Word file, make a PDF, go back to whatever e-sign tool you use. You have all the data in one place. And think about that from a GDPR point of view. If you have data in local mailboxes in the company, if you have data on local stored contracts in the company, it's a time bomb, in our opinion. Sign part is, in our world, like the most boring part. That's 1% of what we do. Yes, we do have e-sign. It's like a wheel on the car. And then post-sign, you can manage your contracts in Oneflow. You can, for example, be notified on key events along the timeline. You can make powerful filters. You can use the data inside the contracts and do smart things with the contracts. So, in our opinion, it's very strange that most e-sign companies still ask you to upload a PDF file. We come from a paper world, and then Adobe invented PDF, which shows you how paper looks like on a screen. But this is SaaS. This is 2022. Why do you want to see on a picture of paper in a browser on your screen. It's dead. It's static. You can't easily change it. And if you look at it on a cell phone, it's not even responsive. So you have to zoom in to read it. Why do you do that? In 2022, it's so strange in our opinion. It's like you wouldn't read Aftonbladet's paper edition as a PDF online. They have an HTML version of Aftonbladet. Same thing. And along the process, we guide, we help, we assist our users. We analyze, we give them insights in the process so they can work smarter. Of course, you will save a lot of time when you use Oneflow. So the light blue here is the time that you can save in each step of the process. And if you go with an e-sign vendor, you're only going to save the light blue on top of the sign bar here. Very small part of the process. Quickly about the revenue model, we focus on recurring. Yes, we do sell some one-off, but that's like a fraction, a few percentage max. So we are a pure ARR company. And we have 3 paid plans, and you pay a price per license per year or month. So you can choose yearly or monthly payments. I decided to bring in this slide also on the business idea because, in our opinion, when you build a company, it's actually less about the product. I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time, and my maybe most important lesson learned has been that it's all about to hire the best and build an amazing culture. If you have a fantastic idea, but an average team, the outcome will be average, period. So you need, but actually average ideas with a fantastic team can make a fantastic product. It's quite strange, actually. So, but you need to have A players, and you need to focus on culture. That's the key to success. We have done quite good. This is a score commonly used. It's called eNPS, where we measure our employees, how happy they are in Oneflow. The average in Sweden is 14. 14. About 30 is good. About 50 is excellent. This is beyond excellent. On top of that, everybody that are hired in Oneflow, we do IQ tests, personality tests, case studies. They are so tired when they've been through a hiring process with us. So that's how you have to do it to build a fantastic company. Number 1 reason to succeed. We have thousands of customers already. A lot of really, really strong brands that are quite demanding. So this just shows that we are able to deliver products to the most demanding customers out there. Market potential. If you look at our prospect, you will find a more traditional TAM analysis. But personally, I like to do a more philosophical approach because it's sometimes hard to relate to very big numbers. Think about CRM. We all know about what CRM is. It's been around for decades. It's a mature market today. That market is around 60 billion US globally, 60 billion US. And how many companies need a CRM system? I would say maybe 30–40%. If you have a sales team and you have more than 100 customers, then you might need it. But an ad agency with 30 employees and 40 clients? No. So I would say 30–40% would need a CRM system. How many companies in the world have contracts? Even every department, in every company, in every country in the world have contracts. So the potential here in terms of seats, licenses, users is so much bigger than CRM. So much bigger. We are in the infancy. We have just started with the e-signing vendors that replace the scanner and printer and ask you to upload a PDF file. Upload a PDF file in 2022. It's a joke. So we believe that we are in the beginning of the next big thing within SaaS B2B. We believe that e-contract space is, over the next 10, 15 years, going to become the biggest, bigger than CRM. That's our prediction. If you look at the penetration in the market, we like to divide our product into like 3 main parts. We call it pre-sign, sign, post-sign. Of course, sign is only even smaller than it's on this illustration. It's like 1%, but pre-sign and post-sign is like the big chunks here. Pre-sign, competition here is mainly Word and PDF. Yes, there are some companies that do pre-sign. I'll get back to those in a minute. But if you look at the overall market, the penetration is still 0 point something. E-sign is starting to get more mature. It's been around since 2003. It's taken a very long time. And in our opinion, it's because they don't solve a big enough problem. But today, if you look in Sweden, sales and HR departments, medium penetration. In some segments, like consulting companies and tech companies, it might be 90%. But if you look at the overall market, it's far from that. It's something in the middle, I would say. And the Nordics and UK and USA is in the lead here. And the rest of Europe is between 5 and 10 years behind us. If you look at e-sign for procurement and legal, the adoption is very slow. They are a decade behind. Post-sign, it's an old industry. It's been around for decades. How most of these systems are on-premise, so you have to scan the contract, upload the contract, manually punch in the data, feed these animals with information. Then you can get notifications. Then you can build reports. So that's, but with Oneflow, it's all tied together. So you don't have to do that. Penetration is still quite low in that segment, 40% roughly in Europe and US. And if you look at the SMB segment, it's like less than 1%. SMB companies have their contracts on some drive, basically. Why? Because the vendors are mostly on-premise, very enterprisey, very expensive, looks very ugly, like a lot of like it looked in a software tool back in '95. That's how it looks. So nobody has made a Tesla for that space yet. That's what we are doing. Competition and positioning. So if you look at these colored balls here, they are all industries. CRM is for sales reps. E-procurement is some kind of CRM for buy side. Then you have HR systems, you have invoicing and ERP systems, and they all have one thing in common. They all want contract data into the systems. And if a sales rep sends a PDF to the buyer, they have to manually punch those data into their e-procurement system. So we want to make the data flow. We want to make the data processable, to unleash data. And also from a GDPR point of view, that is vital because you can't control what is locked down in a PDF. So we compete against 4 different kind of vendors. You have the traditional e-sign vendors. DocuSign, of course, is the big shark here. And in Sweden, you have Scribe, you have Pineo in Denmark. And then you have the CLM, or the contract lifecycle management, the post-sign vendors. Most of them are very, very enterprisey and still on-premise. Then you have, we call it proposal companies. It's not an official name, we just named it that. You can also call it e-sign 2.0. So this is e-sign companies that have taken it one step further. They have realized that you can't hassle with PDFs anymore. You need to truly adopt the web and have HTML contracts. So they also have the pre-sign stuff, as we do. I'll get back to the differences in the next slide. And then you have legal tech companies, a different kind of animal, actually. But that's also quite small space compared to if you compare it to sales or procurement. So this is how we map out these companies on a, call it department workflow map. So you have on top, you have departments, sales, procurement, HR, and legal. And then you have create and collaborate is pre-sign. Then you have sign and post-sign below. So if you look at proposal companies, they focus on sales and HR and the whole process there. If you look at e-sign vendors, they only do e-signing for sales and HR mostly. Because if you are in procurement, how can you use it? You get the contract, so you don't decide if it's going to be e-sign or not. And then you have legal tech to the right, and you have contract lifecycle management in the post-sign stages. And this is how we focus in Oneflow. And then you can, of course, argue, why do we aim so broad? Because it's a very huge market, so you don't need to aim that broad. And first of all, I mean, we only have one focus. Contracts, 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 contracts. But yes, there are huge differences between procurement and sales, especially, and also legal. The reason that we have decided to have a broader approach is because of land and expand. And this works amazingly today. This is why we have a net retention of more than 120%. So we grow 21% per year without bringing in new customers. Typically, we enter the customer through sales or HR, and then we expand the account into other departments, because it's much cheaper to sell to an existing account than to chase down new accounts. And it's a huge benefit for companies to have all their obligations or their liabilities, all the assets in one place. So you don't need to have one tool for sales and one tool for HR and one tool for, you can tie together, and you can use the data together. For example, what is the if you sell something and then it's some costs related to that sales, you have the costs and the income in the same tool. I also would like to mention that we are in a very interesting shift right now. If you go back to the 80s and 90s, most sales or companies were in a sales-led motion. You had sales reps meeting the buyer for a dinner, playing golf and so on, and sign the contracts. And then around 2004, we had a shift to marketing-driven growth, where companies like HubSpot, Pardot, and so on came to the market. And we started to talk about marketing qualified leads, content marketing. You wanted to have the users book demos and so on. And now, today, we are in a new shift called product-led growth, PLG, where product will take the lead and sales and marketing will come after. Think about Slack, Atlassian, MongoDB. There's a lot of companies. Zoom, take Zoom for example. If you invite somebody to a meeting, they get a free demo of Zoom. And it's very easy to make an account, a freemium account, try it out, and then later convert to a paid plan. That is PLG. That is the future of sales in software. In 20 years, nobody will book a meeting anymore manually. Just randomly pick up the phone and call a CEO or somebody randomly, like it happens today. That's going to die out, hopefully sooner. So in the future, it's all going to be data, and the buyer will come to the seller through the product. We have a huge focus these days on expanding outside the Nordics. We have offices in Oslo, Helsinki, UK, in London, in Amsterdam, and in France. And also we have a dev team in Sri Lanka. But we build the product in Sweden. So we have a dev team focusing on integrations in Sri Lanka. And 24% of net sales is outside Sweden, end of Q2 this year. And the beauty of PLG is that you don't have to have local presence. Today we have customers in 27 countries. Even in New Zealand, even in Belize in Caribbean. We've never called them, but they come to us. That is PLG. We also opened offices. The offices I mentioned, UK was opened in May, and so it's a very new office. And the offices in Netherlands and France, we opened the office in the second quarter. We started to hire people, and we actually turned on the light last week. So it just opened. We have 3 main sales channels: direct sales, high touch. We do have outbound teams doing the old school prospecting, book meetings, and so on. Still, I don't think we're going to have that in 10, 15 years, but still that's how we sell software. And then you have inbound sales, focusing on working closely with marketing to get inbound leads. Partnerships, we have a lot of experience here. We have done a lot of mistakes here, and also we've done something right. So we know what is working and what is not working. And it is very important to build strong integrations to other systems. That's a key to make partnerships work. That's why we have a huge team in Sri Lanka, only building integrations. That's all they do. Self-serve, no touch or low touch. This is maybe the most exciting channel. And you have 2 legs there. You have marketing-driven. Marketing generate traffic to our homepage, and some of them sign up for a freemium. And then we work on converting them to a paid plan, or product-driven. The Oneflow users invite counterparties to the contract, and they give a free demo of Oneflow when they engage in the contract, negotiate, make changes, and so on. And then we will work on converting, giving them a freemium and converting some of them to a paid plan as well. So to the financials. ARR is our North Star KPI. I think our auditor would hope it should be net sales, but net sales, in our opinion, is a lagging indicator. It's ARR that we internally focus the most on. So end of Q2, 75 million, and the growth rate was 66%. And if you look back, it looks like it's been dropping from 78, 80%, 74%. And it has, but the reason for that is because this is the growth from 1 year earlier, which was the start of the pandemic. So it was maybe a little bit higher in Q2, Q3 21 than it should be in like a normal market. So we have given a target ARR. I'll get back to that in the end of the deck. But to be able to achieve our target, we need to have the growth rate more than 60%. Net new ARR was growing. It was 9 million in the second quarter. And in the graph to the right, you can compare within the same quarter. And the growth here was 28% from Q2 last year, which means this is the growth on growth. So if it was 0%, we would still have been growing a lot, because our growth is 66%. So this is actually 28% growing, 28% faster now than it grew 1 year ago. This is 2 very important KPIs that we follow closely: net and gross retention. So the gross retention include churn and downgrade. It's around 94%, quite stable there. There will always be some churn based on, things happen with companies, and also based on market dynamics. I think we are quite close to where it can be. Of course, you can always have higher, but then it's a trade-off. You want to have it higher. So it is quite strong. Net retention last quarter, 121%, which proves that we're actually growing a lot within our existing customer base. Paying users, 25,000 paying users end of Q2. And if you look to the right, this is the price that, or the seat price per user. And it's the same level as it was 1 year before, but it dropped from Q1. The reason for that is also connected to the net retention, because we actually haven't reduced the prices, but we sold more seats to some really, really big accounts. And you will get the volume discount when you buy many seats. So it's the composition of seats that reduces that. Actually, we're going to increase our prices within a very short time. Quite a lot, actually, because we are far too cheap, in our opinion. So a price increase is just around the corner. Net sales up 59%. Still in Sweden, it's a huge market in Sweden. There's a lot more to do here, but we want to expand. It's very important for us to achieve our goal of becoming a thought leader globally within our space. And it's been growing outside Sweden for like every quarter, which is super fun. And as I said before, we are a pure ARR company. So ARR on sales ratio is 135%, because we're growing so fast. Gross margin, very high, around 95%, and quite stable there. The graph starts at 80, so that's, if you started at 0, you wouldn't have seen the drop. I would say two main parts in the cost component here. Around 2/3 is related to costs to partners, and 1/3 is more traditional cost of goods stuff, like, for example, hosting. EBIT and EBITDA declined, and this is according to plan, of course. That's why we brought in money, because we are in a product race. We need to build a fantastic or an even stronger product. So, and we are expanding into new markets, 3 new offices in the second quarter. So this is according to plan. High LTV CAC. So the CAC also went up, of course, because we did all these investments and hired so many people and offices. And the LTV, is it 2 minutes left or? Awesome. So the LTV, in the LTV formula, we have not included expansion sales. So we made it a very simple formula. If we included expansion sales, it would have been even higher. So the decline here is according to plan. We are investing in new markets and hiring more people. Our goals, 2026, an ARR of more than 600 million, and an EBIT margin the same year of at least 20%.
Excellent, Anders. And now I will continue with some questions. And my first question is, you have touched upon it in the presentation, but can you please describe what sort of returns do your customers see when they invest in your products?
Oh, that's a tricky one, because it depends what kind of customer you are, of course. We sell to all departments, and some companies, I mean, that will vary a lot between departments, and also based on the nature of your business, what you're selling. But as I showed on one of the graphs, you can save a lot of time using Oneflow, and time is the most valuable thing that we have in life. And also for most companies, the biggest cost. So it's impossible to give you like one number. You would have to. It would be specific for each category, each company.
Okay, fair enough. But I guess time is money.
Time is money. Time is money.
And what part of the organizations are you focusing your sales efforts on?
Well, this is still, I mean, e-sign is very mature, and what we do, the like more HTML based, is still for many people like unknown. Oh, can you do that? That's wow. That's like so when we sell to companies using e-signing or not using anything at all, we have the same hit rate. Sorry again, your question was?
What part of the organization are you focusing your sales efforts to? Is
we focus.
IT?
We focus the outbound effort on sales and HR departments in some verticals that we, based on experience, know are more early adapters. Some, I mean, it's not a secret, like consulting companies, recruitment companies, tech companies are early adapters in this space, and it's quite strange to think maybe that lawyers are not, they are laggers. This is, we work with contracts, but lawyer and auditors and so on, they are and banks, they are, I don't know, they are 50 years behind. I don't, it sounds strange, but I mean, they're so long. I mean, still, when you want to do something with the bank, they're going to send you some PDF that you have to print out and scan. And so we don't invest too much energy. So we have like some industries, some verticals we focus most on, and it's sales and HR typically.
Okay, great. You have touched upon it earlier, but what sort of competition do you face when in your selling work, and also why are the customers choosing you instead of the competitors?
Yeah, competition also is based on which department we approach and which market, of course. In Finland, if we approach when we approach sales teams in Finland, then you have maybe Visma Sign is big there, DocuSign is big there. In Denmark, it's Peneo, it's DocuSign. In Sweden, it's GetAccept and Scrive. And in UK, there are Juro and so on. There are different companies in different markets, and based on if it's procurement departments, then it's one type of companies, and if it's sales departments, so it depends on where we poke. Okay. So to say.
But it will mostly be local champions rather than global competitors.
I would say the global players here. I mean, DocuSign is like by far, of course, the big shark, but they are not so, I would say, poisonous. At least not here in the Nordics, because it's not a very sexy offering. It's a very old school product, and it's quite cumbersome to use it. They are still in the PDF mindset. It's very pricey. So that's very American and enterprisey, so to say. Okay,
great. And can you explain your sales process a bit? Is it mostly incoming leads or outgoing leads you focus on right now?
Yeah. I mean, every company wants, of course, most inbound leads, and we have a mix. So we have a quite huge marketing team doing a lot of activities, and we do get a lot of inbound leads, and the hit rate on inbound leads is much higher than hit rate on outbound. We also have SDR teams that do the old school prospecting, book meetings for the sales reps, we have teams focusing on mid-market. We have teams focusing on enterprise market. We have bid managers doing the more complicated stuff and so on. So we have a lot of different teams here doing different stuff. It's a mix. I would say in Sweden we have a quite known brand. So we have, I would say, a very healthy chunk of inbound leads in Sweden. But take, for example, UK and Netherlands and France, they were like totally unknown. Then we have to invest much more for every inbound lead that we get. So then it's more tricky.
Okay, great. And can you please describe the benefits of working with sales partners, which you do?
Sales partners?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the partner. But integrations are, I would say, a key to make partnerships fly. And the strongest partnerships that we have are typically local vendors, SaaS vendors. Could be CRM, it could be an ATS system, it could be any kind of system, local SaaS vendors, where we build a very close integration, and we do a lot of activities together with this company. That is a very powerful partner model. But to go to try to I mean, we have also tried to convince like Tieto and all these big. I mean, then you just waste your time. That's a total time drain. Yeah.
Okay, great. And we have touched upon it a bit, but given your strong CAC LTV numbers, do you believe that you can accelerate your sales efforts or increase prices?
We believe that we can increase prices. We believe that we are very cheap compared to competition also. We haven't increased prices in a very long time. I mean, in a startup or scale-up that we are right now, there are so many things to do, and you can't do it all at the same time. So we have been quite late maybe to adjust prices. So now we've done a big job on that, and we're quite confident that we can increase prices and that it will not affect our sales negatively.
Okay, great. And roughly, what sort of payback time do you see on your marketing and CAC investments?
Yeah, we haven't given that number. We only give the LTV CAC number. We have discussed, there are so many KPIs.
Yeah, I know.
And you have to draw the line somewhere. And I think, I mean, we're quite generous when it comes to, if you compare us to other SaaS companies in the Nordics, on what they report. So, yeah.
Okay, great. And my next question is, can you describe on how you work with retention rate? What is the key to keep the number on roughly 120% or to expand it?
Yeah, the key would be to, I mean, we have a lot more potential within our existing customers. So the key would be to continue and build, especially procurement features, and continue to build an amazing product with a high NPS score. That's the key.
Okay, great. I will round off with 2 quick questions. And looking at your financial targets,
yep.
What do you see as the main driver to achieve them? Is it new sales or sales on existing customers?
Well, we need a lot of new sales, of course, to be able to reach that target. And we also believe that the product is going to help us grow a lot. Refer to the PLG concept. Because right now, as we speak, hundreds of people are getting a free demo of Oneflow from one of our paying users. So we have to create a very lean and good onboarding for those potential customers. But it's a mix. Back to your question again, Richard. It's a mix of efforts, and it's hard to without like breaking it down. But we believe that the net retention is going to remain high. That's a very important goal for us, and to be able to achieve our target, yes, we need to have a net retention at least on the levels that we have right now.
Okay, great. And then a very quick answer to my last question is, have you noticed among your clients the increased volatility in the macro environment of lately?
Yeah, no, we haven't actually. In the start of the pandemic, then it was a slight drop, as you can see on the growth graph I just commented on. But when it comes to the current situation now with the inflation and the Ukraine situation and so on, not so far. But of course, I mean, you never know. So we are very on alert. Of course, we have a lot of money in the bank. We have around $250 million in the bank, and we're also very. I mean, we know that when you decide to go public, you also make a decision on how you want to gear the company going forward, because we need to have our plan is to not raise more money and still have a very solid buffer when the cash curve turns. So if that was not the plan, then we would have had to stay in the venture capital environment. So you make a decision also when you go public that you want to use this money to build the product and so on, but you have to turn the curve and become positive. So yeah, that's important for us.
Okay, great. Anders, thank you for coming to Erik Penser Bank, and thank you everyone for listening here and online. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.